Bonjour, Emilie, SYSTEM Ambassador in the US. I am a bird photographer and I am here in New Hampshire right now at Tin Mountain Conservation Center in the heart of the White Mountains. And I think it's the perfect time to give you 5 tips on bird photography in the winter. So let's get started. Tip number 1 is you want to be physically prepared for winter. And by that, I mean you want to keep warm. When I'm in New Hampshire, I'm shooting birds in the winter, I'm going to have to deal with very harsh conditions. I'm talking about strong winds, I'm talking about very cold temperatures. And yes, there is that saying about there is no bad weather, just bad clothing. Yes, maybe. So that's why we need to make sure that we are wearing layers. That's my recommendation number 1. You want to trap air between all those layers. That will be basically insulation. And your first layer, I would really recommend merino wool because it's breathable and it's not going to trap the moisture. There is nothing worse than being cold and wet. You want to avoid that. Also, you need to protect your extremities. Your head, you want to make sure that you're wearing a good hat. This is wool again. I also have a neck warmer that I use and I will protect my nose, and good gloves. It's so important because that's what we are using to be able to press on that shutter button. And also good boots. Tip number 2. You want to take care of your gear so they last longer. I am an OM system photographer, so I'm really lucky because my camera is IP53 rated, which means it really can take the elements. I usually don't use a rain cover, I can go out in the rain. But if you don't have a camera system that's waterproof, then you should use a lens cover, like a little raincoat that you can buy, because that's going to protect your gear. Now, 2 things that I do as a wildlife photographer when I go out and photograph birds is that I keep extra pairs of battery inside my coat pockets, because in the cold your batteries are not gonna last that long compared to the summer. That's why you want extra batteries, but also you don't want to let them in your bag or exposed in the cold. Now, when you're done shooting, you're so happy you got some great bird photographs. Well, you need to go home and edit them, but your camera is very cold. That's why I recommend using a Ziploc. Yes, mine is very big because I want to be able to fit my camera and my lens in that Ziploc. Why? Because of condensation. If I'm going inside my house with my camera like that, I will introduce a lot of moistures. I don't want to do that. I want to protect my gear. So before entering into a warm place, I will put my camera in this Ziploc and then it will be protected. I will let it acclimate inside the house and then I won't have any moisture on my lens. Tip number 3, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to your exposure. What's great in winter is that you have that beautiful snow most of the time and you can use it as a background so you can isolate your bird. The problem is if you are using auto ISO, for example, your camera will tend to underexpose your bird because it's reading all that snow around the bird and thinking that this scene is too bright. So you want to make sure that you're exposing to the right, one stop or two stop up, because otherwise you will underexpose your bird. There is something that I use. A lot of people read their Instagram. Yes, you should. But on my OM1, I actually use the highlight alert, which basically means that here, that scene, let's imagine I'm shooting that scene. If I'm overexposing, well, that scene on my camera will be orange, and it's telling me, it's like the blinkies, you know, it's like it's right there telling me, oh, this is overexposed, and you're not gonna get any information right here because you overexposed it. So it's a great tool because I don't have to read my Instagram. I see it in my viewfinders. It's in orange, so it's a great tool. If you have that in your system, you should definitely use it. Tip number 4. A lot of us love to use our AI detect for bird, but when it's snowing, well, this is going to be probably an issue because your camera might not be able to track your bird, and your camera will hunt to get your bird in focus if you have a snowstorm or if you have a light, you know, snow falling. That's why I recommend manual focusing. I know it's kind of why manual focusing, but trust me, that will save you a lot of time trying to focus on the bird, and that will also help you not miss a shot when it's snowing. And to help you, you can use focus picking. At the press of a button, see directly in your viewfinder if your bird is in focus or not, because you'll see it will turn red to show you what's in focus. That way, you're not thinking you're focusing on the bird and you're actually focusing on a branch. You know, yes, the red is on the bird. Tip number 5, it's all about knowing your subject. Winter, summer, right? Winter photography, your birds are going to probably be different, and you will not find them where you usually find them in the summer. For example, if I'm at my local pond and it's frozen, I'm not going to find that many birds. Birds are going to be looking for water, and they also be looking for a food source. So knowing where the food source is and when the water is that's not frozen is very important. For example, if I want to find some cedar waxwing or some cardinals, I might look for bushes that have berries, and that's where I will find my birds. If I find a river, I know that maybe I'll find a bald eagle because that's where it's going to go and fish, because at my local pond, it can't fish, it's frozen, it's not going to be there. So you need to know your subject so you know where to go to photograph them. It's a basic tip, but an important one. That's it for my 5 tips for winter bird photography. I know 5 tips is not a lot. There are many other tips. That's why I want to invite you, yes you, to post a comment and tell us what are your tips for winter bird photography. I'd love to hear about them. Also, if you want to have more tips, not just about winter, but bird photography in general, you can go and rewatch the bird photography series special that we did last year with B&H, and I'll take you on a little journey on the coast of New England. I want to thank you again for watching this video, and I will see you very soon. Au revoir.